secret recipe, topped off with hand-grated cheese and farm-fresh toppings. And don't forget, those famous microbrews are also available in kegs for your next party or in 6-packs and growlers to go. So grab your crew and head to Smoky Mountain Brewery and tell them Fan Run Radio sent you. Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
Fall fans, reimagine your home at Broadway Carpets and Flooring for any remodeling or building needs. With a variety of carpets, rugs, hardwood, vinyl, and stone, Broadway has all the flooring and installation options you're looking for, including pet-resistant products like Pet Perfect Carpet from Shaw Floors. Visit their showroom in downtown Knoxville or the location in West Knoxville located on Kingston Pike near Pellissippi Parkway today.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio. You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
We don't need no darn intro. I need 2 to play. That's all I need today. 2 to play, 2 to play. Got to be somewhere for what usually is our third hour, your extra time, your overtime, your overdrive overtime. But today we got 2, taking you up to the playbook with the great William Pattison. And Bob Baskerville is going to join us later on in the hour. I'm fired up, folks, prepared for that. Kevin Skarbinski as well from down in the great state of Alabama, which we don't give a damn about them because we're from Tennessee. Bino, Jeff, how you doing, buddy?
Tony, I'm doing outstanding, and I like the format. 2 and we're through.
2 and we're through, baby doll. And the great Bob Baskerville, Hughie here in a few minutes. But, boy, we have a huge, huge game tomorrow in Knoxville, Beanstar. Huge game tomorrow in the Ville.
Yeah, we do, Tony. It was certainly a disappointing result at Missouri. Strange game. Thought we played it about as well as we played the entire year, the first 4 minutes, the first half. And then the next 16, we played about as poorly as we played. So it's kind of strange. But if this team can somehow, some way win 2 out of 3 and finish 12-6, I think that's a really, really good result in the league for this team.
This team make you to no sense, Bino. They make you to no sense, you know. They just make no sense. And we had an interesting discussion earlier in the week, Bino, and people were kind of triggered. People were kind of triggered about it. But regarding the criticism of the Lady Vol program, of course, they lost last night. No surprise there. You're paying attention. You knew that was coming. Brian, I thought they played pretty well, didn't you? I watched that game from pillar to post. As I proclaimed to this audience that I would. I knew when that became a thing that they were going to be worth paying attention to. And sure enough, they've been worth paying attention to. They played. I'll tell you what the Lady Vols have, Brian. They got a lot of talent on that basketball team when you watch them last night. They played Texas off their feet. They're really, really have some skill on their team, Brian.
Talent isn't the issue. It's just the turnovers. They can't maintain prosperity for a full game.
Yep.
And I loved Kim Mulkey's halftime interview.
Yep.
And then the laugh at the end of it was even better.
Yes. She called it, what did she call it? She called it bad basketball. She said Tennessee drags you into bad basketball. And then Holly Rose said, in all honesty, Coach, she said, I'm really having trouble concentrating right now with your feathers. And she just looked at her and kind of swatted at her and walked away. She almost cracked a smile there, Bri, didn't she?
Yeah, it wouldn't have improved her looks much, but at least she almost cracked a smile.
Bino, no offense to Skim Mulkey,
Wow.
but Bino, you're getting of age where she might start, aging into your profile. Here's Kim Caldwell. Now, we talked about this earlier in the week. It's an interesting thing to hear former players launch on a coach they didn't play for. And I don't know who was up there on the ESPN table when Andrea Carter did it, but whoever it was started fanning her. And then she said afterwards, you took him to church today. You took him to church. Kim Caldwell was asked last night, recent criticism by LVFL, Lady Vol for Life. And this is courtesy of Paige Dower. And I'm going to go ahead and share this with you here. Hang on one second. I'm going to share this with you. And I want Bino to respond. Because I think this is good on her. Good on her to share this. I'm going to play it right off the phone. Here we go.
I haven't made a comment yet. I think that it's fair for the most critical people of this program to be the people who have built this program. And it's hard for me to get upset with a lot of critique when I'm my biggest critic and I know that things aren't going the way that they need to be going, and I don't not leaving work every day happy and satisfied and patting myself on the back. No one in our program is. We have a program full of love. We have a program full of honesty, and we know that. And I think that that's why they've been able to be so resilient through this.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen, a little Kim Caldwell for you. Bino, that's a very mature answer right there that she gave. Very mature.
No question, Tony. I think that shows a wisdom and a self-control and ability to reason.
Yep.
For a lady that's probably going through the roughest patch she's ever had as a coach, and she's a young coach to boot. Yeah, just a great response.
And then we've got a little term that we're going to focus on with Hughie on the other side, because there's a report out there that we're going to see a couple dozen of these guys, something called a blind transfer. Now, I thought it was pretty self-explanatory. I got criticized yesterday from somebody for saying, why didn't you explain what a blind transfer is? Why don't we all try and guess what a blind transfer is? So there's no transfer portal, right? You just leave a university, okay? And then you appear at another one. And here's my question for you. If a normal student can do that at the end of any year, why can't an athlete? If a normal student can, at the end of the year, can blind transfer, submit paperwork to another university, why can't an athlete? See, that's why I'll never hold up. So we'll talk about that. And look, the blind transfer is going to circumvent the system. Player moves to a new school without entering their name into the NCAA's transfer portal during the designated time frame that's been established by the NCAA. Okay. And it makes... We all know, except Danny White, that this was never... Danny White thinks the NCAA is real. Now, the NCAA is saying they're going to slap back at this, and they're going to go after the schools that do it. Bino, do you believe it?
I believe that they'll try to go after him, Tony. I don't know how successful, if at all, they'll be.
David Speaks says, yeah, you can go to our school, student. You won't be eligible to play for the school, but you'd be eligible to play. You'd be eligible to get a stipend. See, here's the argument, David. This is what you're missing. You'd still be eligible to get a stipend as a graduate student in a science. You would still be eligible for a full scholarship and maybe a paying job somewhere in that community so they could get the best and brightest on their campus as a student, which goes on as, by the way, these universities compete for students. And so if that's the case, then why not? Because here's what's going to happen. I'm going to see you in court, okay? And guess what's going to happen in court to the NCAA? Bino, you and I are very bright. What's going to happen in the NCAA in court?
They're likely to lose, Tony. They're going to lose that.
Yeah. Same way that Duke lost when they had a guy's name on a contract when Miami went, and Duke got to thinking about it, and they got slapped down in a court of law after they got to thinking about it. So what you're going to see programs do is they're going to target spring transfers. Tennessee is going to go through spring ball, and they're going to go, you know what? We have a need here, wherever the need is. The new defensive coordinator is going to look at some players and go, you know what? These guys are going to be able to play my system. So, hey, coach, we need to go get this. We need to go get that. Bino, should the Vols do that if they identify need areas, or should they just sit there and say, hey, we're locked by because of the portal? What should the Vols do, Bino?
Well, I think Tennessee should play by the rules that everyone else is playing by.
Which means?
The unwritten rules that everybody else is playing
Thank
by,
you.
which means if they should be as aggressive as they can be.
Yes.
Here's the worst thing about all of this is,
yes,
we're just in such a bad place, because what's good and lawful by the court is not what's good for the game.
That's right. And they've left themselves be run by the courts.
That's where we're at.
And they've left themselves be run by the courts, which they're an unprofessional. It's an unprofessional sport now. I mean, Betty Crocco played in Puerto Rico last night, for crying out loud. Puerto Riqueña. The NCAA,
and hoping to play tomorrow, right?
The NCAA is threatening. The NCAA is threatening strict penalties for schools that accept transfers. Potential consequences they're floating out there, prohibiting the head coach from all football recruiting and administrative duties for 6 games. Bino, do you believe the NCAA would do that, would follow through with that? Let me help you out. No. A 20% fine of the school's football budget. You think any of these schools would willingly fork that over to the NCAA? Oh, yeah, you got us. Yeah, you got us. Or a reduction of 5 roster spots for the following season. I would tell you right now, if I could get 4 or 5 players that help me, I would give you 20 scholarships. Over now that we're at 105, what's the point? If I could get me 4 players that can play, yeah, I do. I make that trade with you. I'd give you 5 for 1. I mean, it's so dumb. But we'll talk with you again.
I guess here's another question, Tony.
Yeah.
Based on what we've seen come out of the portal in springs past.
Yep.
Would it be worth the gamble?
I don't know.
Because that crop hasn't been real good.
What if one of these quarterbacks that flirted with a school, that stayed at a school, and then decided, hey, I don't like this new coach, and it was a really good starting quarterback? I mean, you never know what's out there.
No, that's true.
You know? What if a great wide receiver? I mean, Tennessee got Joey Aguilar out of that portal last year, Bino. And you better not speak ill of him, because they will come after you in here on the chat. They people on this chat over here at YouTube, they think the guy's John Elway. Take a brief time now. I mean, he was pretty good, Bino. You got to admit it. He came out of the portal.
Oh, no question. question.
But you are right,
I'm
Bino.
forever grateful to him.
A lot of those guys are, what we call those? Are they 2s at 10 or 10s at 2? What's the old saying? Brian, what is that? It's a 10 at 2, right? Interesting. We continue with more on the other.
Let's just say the fall or winter transfer portal has been much more plentiful than the spring.
Lots of 2s at 10
drop.
there. As we continue with Yugi after this.
When it's time for your next move, you want to get your precious belongings from point A to point B with your peace of mind intact. That's why you need to call my friends at Gufon Moving and Storage, East Tennessee's moving legend. Gufon Moving and Storage has been helping East Tennesseans move since 1887. That's 138 years. 5 generations. That's even longer than the Dooley, Jones, and Pruitt era combined. Gufon Moving and Storage, pro movers, serving Knoxville, surrounding areas, and interstate moves too, both residential and commercial. And we'll provide you with personalized service that other corporate movers simply cannot. We know how to move all types of items. We pay careful attention to our clients' valuables. Your satisfaction as a customer is our absolute priority. As the oldest continually owned and operated family moving business in the United States, when it's time for your next move, it's Gufon Moving and Storage. And storage, it's secure and vaulted. Our newest offering of commercial storage logistics, we offer receiving, storage, and delivery services for all your business logistic needs. See more at Gufon.com. That's Gufon.com, or check out the link at tclub.team. When it's time for your next move, East Tennessee's moving legend, Gufon Moving and Storage. Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776, or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Cold weather is here. Is your heating system ready and running efficiently? Don't wait to find out. A simple tune-up now can help prevent costly breakdowns when you need your heat the most. Right now, Pipe Wrench is offering a $79 heating system tune-up to keep your home warm, safe, and worry-free all winter long. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune every part of your heating system for maximum efficiency and comfort, helping you avoid surprise breakdowns and high energy bills. And with Pipe Wrench Home Service's same-day service guarantee, you won't be left out in the cold waiting for help. Your comfort isn't just our job, it's our promise. Schedule your $79 heating system tune-up today at pipewrench.com before winter decides to test your heater. Pipe Wrench Home Services, trusted in Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and neighboring communities for over 20 years. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. For standard systems only, visit pipewrench.com for details.
TB here with Alan of WeShipFloors.com. Tell them about it, Alan.
Hey, I'm Alan from WeShipFloors.com. Our competition's prices, well, they're going up. Ours are coming down. Our waterproof floor Supercore is the best, and right now it starts at $199 a square foot. Our warehouses are full of 4mm, 6mm, and 8mm. You strapped for cash? Well, we have our own in-house financing. Use our room visualizer and order some free samples today. Supercore from WeShipFloors.com. Best products at best price.
Like Alan said, head over to WeShipFloors.com. Use the room visualizer on the website. Drop in any of the 120 Supercore floors virtually into your room and order your free samples today. WeShipFloors.com. Tennesseans, they are us. The best product, the best price. WeShipFloors.com. Score a TD every time with T3 Vodka. T3 is Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. T3 Vodka is taking the volunteer state by storm. T3 Vodka, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains, where quality isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. Filtered 10 times and 80 proof. T3 Vodka delivers a smoothness that's unmatched. This dedication to excellence has already earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades. T3 is a 5-time gold medal winning vodka and the 2025 SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner. Whether you're sipping it neat or on the rocks or mixing up your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka is your choice for a premium, award-winning experience. Score a T3 TD and ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right. Drink T3 Vodka and score a touchdown every time. T3, Tennessee's premium vodka. Please drink responsibly. Gotta love this time of the year.
Goal.
Hoops here, home runs over there, and you've got to get your Tennessee on. And there's only one place, the best place to shop for your officially licensed Tennessee volunteer gear, Alumni Hall. Hands down, the best store for Vol fans. They've got the latest and greatest apparel for the entire family. Hats, man cave items, decor, and more. Get your Vols grill cover, a plate for your burgers, and of course, that chef's apron for all that outdoor grilling this spring. And accrue those rewards and watch your balance grow online or on the app. We'll see you at Alumni Hall and alumnihall.com and G to the B to the O, Alumni Hall. You know, college basketball is drunk. And, you talk about a sport that went for dos and tres and quattro and catorce and once and doce and viente. And Vino's fired up right now. We're learning how to count in Spanish. And we welcome now to our hotline, our Newsmaker hotline. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, meet and greet for our Friday date. Hughie is in the car, but we're going to deal with the sound issues because a little bit of Hughie goes a long way. We got a little bit of Hughie today, followed by a little bit of Bob Baskerville. Hughie, Tennessee has owned Alabama. Basketball is a matchup sport. Tennessee had a great win at Vanderbilt the other day without J.P. Estrella or Estrella, depending on how you want to say it. But Hughie, then they turn right around and play like absolute duds on the road at Missouri. The league is drunk, man. I mean, the game is drunk.
Yeah, the bottom of the SEC is pure garbage. But the mid-level and the top teams are relatively even. I think Florida is a level above everybody else. But Tennessee and Alabama still fight to get that double bye in the SEC tournament. And Tennessee has owned the Tide, and it's because Barnes' defense doesn't let Oates' offense shoot three-pointers. And when Alabama can't shoot three-pointers, it's inept offensively. There is no mid-range game. It's all at the rim and from the three-point line. So you run them off the line, and they struggle to score.
When it's time for your next move, ladies and gentlemen, you don't want just anybody. And here's the thing. You want a company that since 1887 has been doing it, kind of like Tennessee football. Brian, could this be Team 138 for all we know? How many years have we been at it?
How many years we been at it, Bri? In football?
I think 136, maybe.
They've been at it longer than Tennessee football at Gufon Moving and Storage. Oh, generations and generations on the station of domination. Hughie, it is an interesting sport that it's a matchup sport. It's got to frustrate Nate Oates to no end when he sees Tennessee on their schedule, because it's almost like a scheduled loss at this point, Hughie. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, and again, it's all about running them off the 3-point line. And Barnes' teams, who are defensive minded anyway, I think they sort of lock in a little bit more when they play Alabama, because again, going in when you're playing Alabama, if they're not on from 3-point range, you hold them to 7 or 8 3-pointers or a extremely poor percentage, you're beating them, because there is no mid-range game. Their inside attack this year is lacking. It's a perimeter-oriented team, and Barnes has the medicine to stop Oates' offense.
Bino Negative is saying, how can you trust this Tennessee team tomorrow? Stop, Tony, stop. Bino, do you trust this Tennessee team against that Alabama, what they do? Alabama's so one-dimensional, Beanstar.
Well, Tennessee's just been so good and seem to have had the formula. What does worry me is there's no way there's been enough difference in these two rosters for Tennessee to ever win 5 games in a row. As a matter of fact, Alabama's probably been a little better than them through the course of those years. So at some point that's going to end.
Well, that's the weird thing, Hughie. You would think that other coaches would take Barnes' blueprint, but they don't do it. They don't do it, and they let him sit out there and let him bomb away. I guess that's because Tennessee has just been so darn good. They're built defensively first, whereas I think a lot of teams look for guys who can put the ball in the basket first. Barnes' first prerequisite is you got to be able to defend if you want to get on the floor for him.
Yeah, I think that is exactly it. I think it's a mindset. If you're a defensive-minded team anyway, this kind of game, I think, sort of gets you ginned up. If you're, a team that likes to score 70, 80 points, high 70s, low 80s, playing this kind of defense is a little bit more problematic. I do know that when Alabama played Florida this year, Florida beat them by 23. I think Alabama shot like 31% from 3-point range, and Florida scored 74 points in the paint. So my assumption is tomorrow that Tennessee will use that same kind of blueprint, force Alabama to drive, and pound the ball inside, and let Nate Ament do some one-on-one stuff. I don't think Alabama can play defensively well enough to stop Nate Ament.
This Nate Ament guy, now he's hobbled a little bit, but I expect him to answer the bell tomorrow. By the way, 6 Eastern start. We'll be on with Garza Law, Tennessee basketball overtime. By the way, Will Heflin, when we're done today, will bring you the weekend rotation, a special, and you can catch that podcast at your leisure if you don't want to hear it at that time when we conclude. But Will Heflin has Evan Russell with him today, and they break down a huge weekend for the Tennessee baseball team, who are down in Arlington. Hughie, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, my friend. It's about to get real. This is a great time of the year, man. We've got baseball about to begin, and you got all that baseball all around you there. Do you ever take in any spring training baseball, Hughie, all these years?
I think I've been 3 games in my life, three spring training games in my life, maybe. My wife goes, but I couldn't care less.
What is your basic problem, man? I mean, that's good sports.
It's fake baseball. It's an exhibition game that costs like $30. I'm not into spending $30 on a game that doesn't matter.
Damn, that's pretty rough. All right, Hughie, let me ask you something. Are blind transfers, since you know fake baseball from real baseball, are blind transfers real transfers? And are you going to Say it loud and say it proud with me that will happen. Or will the NCAA's threatening of perhaps, and this is what the NCAA is saying, if you do this, we're going to put some legislation on the books right now. We might prohibit a head coach from all football recruiting and administrative duties for 6 games. We might fine you 20% of the school's football budget if you partake in this. We might reduce you 5 roster spots. Hughie, they're trying to curb tampering. Will these coaches behave, or are we going to see blind transfers when spring ball concludes? What's your guess, Hughie?
Oh, yeah, blind transfers. No question. I think the NCAA can say whatever it wants, and those are, by NCAA standards, rather draconian penalties. But if you take this to court, the court is going to say, no, you can't transfer to that school, even if you didn't go through the transfer portal. Regular students transfer all the time. You can't hold college football, basketball, baseball players to different standards.
Yeah.
So I think that the NCAA thinks it will. I think the NCAA thinks it's going to curb this, but when a $3 million offer comes to a defensive tackle or edge rusher, that edge rusher is going to say, "Yeah, I'm leaving. I'm going to blind transfer. I'm going to Texas Tech, and I'll see you in court."
Yeah. And Hughie, it's allergy season everywhere while it's football time in the Volunteer State. Because it's always football time in Tennessee, Beanstar. And, you know, the business of this stuff stays on the front burner. Beano, do you think these coaches get scared by the NCAA, or do you think they jump in and partake? Because an agent told Pete Nakos, who we've had on here a few times, of On3, that lo and behold, you're going to see a few dozen of these guys go to high-profile schools.
No, I think they're going to jump in, Tony. I don't think individual schools are ever going to do what's best for the whole. I think they're always going to do what's best for them, and what's best for them is to circumvent whatever rules are currently in place.
And Hughie, people are very triggered by it. Like we're on our YouTube channel, people are, coming at me, and they're all tore up over it, and they're sick of they're sick of all the nonsense around these sports, and it is nonsensical, and it is truly unprofessional. Like, there are professional sports and there are unprofessional sports, and major college sports are totally unprofessional right now. The way they do each other, the way they do these kids, the way they treat each other, the way everybody's out for themselves, the way it's nothing but a pack of liars and lying liars that like to lie. And you can't trust any of them. And it looks like pickup sports till half the season in both those realms now, in football and basketball. But they're not going to behave themselves. They're just not. And if Tennessee knows they have a need area at the end of the spring, I advocate them doing it, Hughie. You think these commissioners could stop it, Hughie, if they wanted to?
I think the commissioners actually could, but I think also every college athletic administrator talks out of both sides of their mouth.
That's right.
On the one hand, the rules are in place for a reason.
That's right.
Excuse me. And then 5 minutes later, oh yeah, bring that kid in, no problem. We'll win in court. So it's going to happen unquestionably.
Your satisfaction as a customer, absolute priority. Gufon Moving and Storage, 138 years. Shout out to Taylor. He's 5th generation in the nation of domination. Secured vaulted storage, newest offering, commercial storage logistics. They will do receiving, they will do storage, and they'll even do delivery services for your business logistic needs. So you can warehouse it. That's like your own little warehouse, or big, huge warehouse, if you will. Gufon Moving and Storage. And how do you stay in business as long as they have? Across 5 generations, because you continue to adapt. But you get up every day and you answer the bell, and you answer the bell by treating people as you would want to be treated. What a concept. Hughie, our mover of the week is presented by our friends at Gufon Moving and Storage. What you got, brother?
Moving down, Charles Bediaco. The idea that he has appealed to the Alabama Supreme Court to be allowed to play this year. I haven't done it, but I'm sure somebody has looked at the alma maters of the judges on the Alabama Supreme Court to find out how many are Bama grads. But, dude, just go away. You played 5 games, then you were ruled ineligible. My assumption is Nate Oates and the Alabama folks are saying, yeah, appeal this. But at some point, maybe the Alabama president needs to step in and say, well, we're done with this. I think it's an extremely bad look for Alabama. I sort of feel sorry for the kid in a way, but go play overseas. Just give up on the idea of college basketball. And the Alabama Sports Information Office releases a statement saying, we're not going to comment. Charles is, heavily involved in getting his degree. Well, whatever, fine. Get your degree. You don't need to suit up to play basketball anymore. This is becoming a circus, a big-time circus.
Well, and as Bino said, and Bino, say it to Hughie, who's governing the sports right now, Beanstar, which is really sickening, by the way.
Yeah, it's everything's being decided on the wrong court, Hughie. It's what is good by law and acceptable by the courts is not good for the game. And I think the biggest assumption that you've made is that the Alabama Supreme Court is made up of college graduates.
Oh, that's a little harsh.
Let's go.
But, if you had said the Mississippi Supreme Court, I think I might agree with you. But it is sort of, or Arkansas, but it is sort of interesting that the fallback for everybody now is, well, let's see what the courts say, and that's not good. And again, that's why, to me, if the Alabama president stepped in and told Nate Oates, Charles Bediaco is not playing another game for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and if Sankey behind the scenes told coaches and school presidents and school athletic directors, this is ludicrous. It reflects poorly on the SEC because it looks like all these schools are just begging and all that kind of stuff. I think it is a bad look, but the University of Alabama president could put a stop to this right away. But evidently he's not inclined to do so.
Again, I'm going to quote my guy that joins me on Friday. His name's Mike Hugan. It's been around for 40 years. He says these people are duplicitous in their dealings in these ivory towers at these schools. Rules for thee, but not for me. And they're all like that, Hughie. All of them.
Exactly. And again, like I said before, they speak out of both sides of their mouth. You could get an AD on the record saying one thing, and then a week later, if something is good for his school but goes against what he said before, he'll say, well, actually, this is probably a great idea. Whereas a week before, he said, this is going to be the death of college athletics. So it's tiresome to be a college athletics fan these days. What happens on the court twice a week, what happens on the baseball field, that stuff is awesome. It's every other day that just it saps your fandom, I think.
Yeah.
And it makes it difficult to follow college sports like you used to. Used to you spent the whole season. This guy was a junior last year.
That's right. That's right.
Do this year? And now it's like, oh, we'll just go out and get a guy. Which guy are we going to get?
And the guys grow up with you. You see them come in as freshmen, and then you see them leave with some stubble on their face, and they're just kind of full, almost like formed young men or young women, if you will, depending on the sport you follow in college. But now they're here. Literally, there's so many that are here. You go, that person was on Tennessee's roster. I don't remember. It literally happens. Like, I don't remember that person, or what year was that? And they come and go so quickly. Hughie, I love you. Give me a final thought here on the way out, as I know you've got to run.
Yeah, we're like 2 weeks from Selection Sunday, and that means we're 2.5 weeks from the first game of the NCAA tournament. So it really is a fantastic time to be a sports fan, like you mentioned before. Hockey, NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball, spring training, college baseball, college softball, and we're getting into the best event of the year, the NCAA college basketball tournament.
Hughie, I love you. You're my man.
All right, talk to you next week. Thanks, man.
Bino, you popped Hughie today. You made him giggle. He's like a sports cyborg sometimes, Bino. I try to pop him every week.
I tell you, Tony, I've got trophies up.
Yep.
And I popped Negative once, and I've popped Hughie. So,
I mean,
my cases, I'm getting some big trophies.
I'm on. It's really, really, really well done by you too, Bino. It's really great work on your part. All right, Bean, let's talk about it. This baseball series this weekend. Tennessee goes today. They go against a really highly rated and highly regarded, and I don't know what the ratings matter at this time of the year, but kind of gives you an indication, though, of what you're on the field against. This UCLA bunch is pretty damn good. The starting pitcher they're going to see today is pretty good. Do we hit the baseball, Bino, or is it more the same that this team's going to kind of drag around here a little bit? And by the way, Evan Russell, as he's on with the great Will Heflin, the weekend rotation, he took some truth serum, man. He's a little worried about this bunch.
Yeah, I think the biggest worry, and we talked about it earlier, Tony. It's not so much what I saw the past weekend. It's just that there is so much change. I mean, even more change than normal here. Just newness everywhere. New head coach, first time head coach, new pitching coach, new strength coach, transfers new to the uniform. Guys in the uniform new to their role. So there's just so much there. And you with that kind of change, there's always a little bit of worry about, do these guys pull on the jersey and think because they've got a Tennessee jersey on, and Tennessee's been so successful over the last several years that it just happens automatically, that there's a sense of entitlement. And you don't know. You've got to grind. You've got to grind every year with every team, and you just don't know until you see that happen.
The other thing, too, and I kind of feel for Josh a little bit, but he's not Tony. And a slow start is the worst thing that could happen to them. Now, they haven't gotten off to a slow start yet. You go down there this weekend and you lose 3 games, you're getting off to a slow start. Would we agree on that, Bino? All of a sudden, you're going to be a hot topic. And you don't want to be a hot topic. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Certainly not what you want. I want to see us play good quality baseball.
Yep.
The outcomes down there don't matter as much to me as let's swing the bat. And another thing I want to see, Tony, is people who have forgotten more about pitching than I know believe this is the good staff. I've got no reason not to say that they're correct. But I want to see them pitch against the teams they're going to pitch against in Arlington.
Yep.
Because that Kent State bunch couldn't bust a grape. Other than their second hitter, who was a really good hitter, the rest of them are up there dressed out like skateboarders hoping to get hit by a pitch. I mean, they got some key hits, but that's not a good hitting baseball team.
And
if they run up against someone that can swing the bat, they'll be behind too much to say, all right, guys, let's rally, getting one guy hit, 2 guys walked, and a bobble in the infield, and we'll be right back in this.
We really broke it down yesterday. One of the things that came up from both, and you can speak to this, Bino, having played ball in college, the belief is that getting away from home is probably going to be good for this team. That's sort of a hope. And it's not like you're going to somebody's home field. You're going to go play a series of teams in a neutral environment in a big league stadium. It's probably refreshing for them to get out of the cloud and the specter of this.
Yeah, well, I never played at the level where I could speak to that very much, Tony. But there's no question that when they get away from home, this team has to gel. They have to come together. And when you get away from home, where basically it's just you and your teammates, that's it. That's it. That's who you're relying on, and that's what you have to do to become a better baseball team, a more unified, solid unit.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together on the Newsmaker hotline. He breaks it down scientifically with Russell W. Smith. Russell W. had what you call a fledgling afternoon show. Bob Baskerville joins that thing along with Bear, and it is like a rocket ship to the moon, man. Bob Baskerville, how do you plead, brother? You have taken Russell Smith. You have completed him, my friend, like a sports soulmate almost.
Oh, you're kind. No, man, it's been a lot of fun. I've been doing a couple of things over at the station, and then, Russell and I have been talking about trying to do something together, and lo and behold, this is what we did, and so far, so good. I've enjoyed it a lot. I think the listeners are too, but I appreciate you saying all that.
You know what's fun about what we do is you can't fake chemistry. Like I've been on the air with people, and I just don't jive with them, and I know you have too. And it's not even their fault or our fault. It's just kind of chemistry. It's kind of like these teams we watch. You guys have great chemistry with each other.
Yeah, thank you. It's been fun. I think some of it too is, you mentioned Bear too. I mean, we're kind of, how do I say it? We're kind of in the same demographic, which I think we're a little older than some of the listeners maybe, but we're also young at heart. And I think we stay close and in touch with what's going on in sports and in pop culture and everything else. So it's been a lot of fun, I have to say.
Well, Bino, Brian, myself have something in common. We all have IQs probably about 3 below plant life at this point. But Bob Baskerville joining on the show. Hey, Bob.
Speak for yourself, Tone.
Bob, speaking of really silly and really goofy, how goofy is this basketball team, man? I mean, what in the world was that Tuesday night?
I have come to the conclusion, and I feel like I'm as level-headed as anybody, but our guys are kind of a tease, I mean, think about earlier in the season, when we took down Houston out in Las Vegas. I mean, people were coming away with, man, the way this team's built and structured, this is different than anything we've seen before with a Rick Barnes team. And then we proceed to blow a second-half lead against Kansas in the next game and then lose on the road at Syracuse. And then we get on winning streaks in the SEC conference play, and we're starting to feel ourselves a little bit, thinking, man, this team could do something. And they still could, but you're always on your heels with this bunch. There's no doubt about it.
And what's crazy, too, is that Vanderbilt game is one of my favorite Tennessee games in a while. When you consider the environment, you consider the way they played, you consider the way they closed, and they turned right around Tuesday night and gave back so much goodwill in my mind, so much trust that I was starting it. Bob, when they were up 12-2, it looked like they were going to blow that team out, didn't it?
Oh, it sure did. And I mean, to your point, it felt like I was talking to my guy Ryan Shumpert with Rocky Top Insider. We were saying it felt like this team had turned a corner after that Vanderbilt game. I started seeing the defense playing not like last year's Tennessee defense with Meshack and Ziegler, but it felt like, man, it's coming around in 3 consecutive games with single-digit turnovers. And it's like, man, this is happening right in the nick of time. And then lo and behold, in Missouri, it all fell apart.
I turned to Laura when it was 12-2, and I said, these guys have arrived. I looked at Urbino. Yeah. I said, look at this. The first 4 minutes of that game, and she looked at me and said, Tony, you don't really believe that, do you? I mean, yeah, I do believe it. That's why I said it to you. Bino, they really do have this. Hey, Beanstar, they have this gear of pulling us in, don't they, these guys?
Yeah, and I think it's probably our fault because they've shown us who they are all year long, and that's what we refuse to believe. It's even the games when they don't turn it over, they always have a period where they let a team back in the game, and it always follows the same plot. You've got a missed bunny and a couple of missed free throws that adds up to 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes without scoring, and the other team gets back in it.
You know what I think's interesting, Bob, because I know you know Rick Barnes really well, is that you can tell this team really flummoxes him.
Oh yeah. I think so. He knows what he would like for them to do, and I think he believes they're capable of it because they've shown in moments that they are, but then they fall back into their kind of old patterns again, like what we saw Tuesday night. I mean, there was that one series where it was, I think Ethan Berg makes a turnover. They take him out. They bring in Troy Henderson. He makes a turnover. There were like 3 consecutive turnovers in about a little over a minute's time. And all of them were just like borderline inexplicable. Like, what are you doing, man? I mean, it's got to be, if it's maddening to us, you have to imagine it's got to be just driving him crazy.
It looked like YMCA basketball there. Like the brown guy tries an alley-oop to Amen. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like he was the first one. And then the second one was Berg trying that blind pass. But, you know, what's that place called in Oak Ridge where they play, where that kid's been honing his skills?
Spurgeon Chapel.
Because that looked like
I told you, Tony, he couldn't play for Spurgeon Chapel.
That looked like
play for somebody else.
That looked like a Spurgeon. And Barnes, and you know him, Bob, he looked over at that kid and he got him, right out of that game. Because in Barnes' mind, that's disrespecting the game when you do something like that out there. That's old school guys, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of like, you've raised kids, and as have I. It was kind of like Ethan's had a couple of pretty solid games, the LSU game, and even I thought in the Vanderbilt game he wasn't a liability. I thought he played pretty well.
Yeah.
And so you believe, and then they just let you down. And I mean, the camera cut was perfect to Barnes, like immediately turning to his right and pointing down to the bench, like, get him out of there right now. I mean, it was pretty funny.
I want to ask you about Barnes.
Hey, Bob, shouldn't we expect this a little bit more though with this team, because it's one of the few in Barnes' entire tenure here where we really don't have a 3 or 4 year guy that's been a part of this program to kind of stabilize things when they start to go in the wrong direction.
Yeah, Bino, you're absolutely right. We talk on our show every week with assistant coach Greg Polinsky, and GP's been great with his time and really good insight. And we asked him just last week, like, what do we think is what's that missing thing that you want to see come around on this team? We're seeing so many things happen with Nate Ament, and again, by and large, defense playing better, et cetera. What do you still think is missing? And Polinsky said it. He goes, I keep looking down the bench, and I'm looking for, man, where's Zakai? Where's Jemai? It's where are those guys at? So to your point, it's like it's we don't have it. I don't think we're going to have someone who's going to emerge and be that guy here in these last set of games. It's just kind of a crowdsourcing thing that they do with that team right now, is like, who's going to step up? Could it be Bishop Oswald? Possibly, but he's young too, man. He's a sophomore.
Yep. And, you know, Rick Barnes was on with John Rothstein the other day and had 2 curious comments. Rothstein asked him, what's your best win in your career? And Rick Barnes said it hasn't happened yet. That's a very curious comment. The second one is, I will tell you this, John, I love this freshman class we have here. That does not sound like a guy, Bob, that's getting ready to hang it up anytime soon. I think it's remarkable that he's been able to evolve and stay more than relevant in this time of flux that we're seeing in college sports, and particularly his sport.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about, we talk about it too, those freshmen, beyond Nate Ament, of course, because he's going to be gone, but Dwayne Brown, Troy Henderson when he's healthy, Amari Evans, those are like Rick Barnes program guys, man. I mean, you know, they're going to be around for a while now. He's going to have to continue to work the portal and get, you know, some sort of blowtorch in that lineup for next season, losing both Gillespie and Ament. But he's got a foundation, and I agree with you. I've heard the same things he's saying, and it sounds to me like a guy who's like, you know, that continues to keep him invigorated, to have guys that he can develop. And it feels like he's kind of figured out the portal thing. It didn't quite work out as well as they would have liked this past season, getting another, you know, we all have talked about, we lament not having another shooting guard. But I think that, I think the guy, you know, and hey, he I'll be the first to say it, he is a friend, but I think in the Missouri game, the way the offense stagnated against that 1-3-1 zone, other things, I mean, I think he was complicit in some of the failures on Tuesday night. That said, I still think that he's got a lot of gas in the tank.
See, that's an interesting thing. You're his friend, but you're not afraid to criticize him, which I've noticed, which tells me that, you know, he's pretty thick-skinned, and it kind of is what it is, and he's not afraid to look into the camera and go, hey, tonight wasn't my night either. I didn't help these guys, which is one thing I love about, like, you and I grew up on old school basketball, and that's what old school coaches have always done. They will criticize themselves, but they're not afraid to criticize their team. It's I love those old school guys.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I agree, and he has definitely done it for a long time. I think that's why he is thick-skinned. You know, I mean, he's been there, done that on so many levels, and I find it kind of refreshing, just given some of the other coaches we've had in the past in some of our various sports who have been hardly thick-skinned. You know, I mean, they would be on the defensive on anything you say.
Yeah. You know, Kim Caldwell was asked last night about the Lady Vol player criticizing her, and she said, hey, she played here. She's invested. And by the way, I'm not real happy about what's going on right now. And by the way, I don't leave the complex happy at night, and nobody on our staff does. And I'm sitting there going, what a mature comment, instead of like an idiot like that Butch Jones guy that looked into a microphone or looked into the cameras and said, guys, there's a few of you in here who are on my list. You know, when you start picking fights with the media, you don't have long to live, Bob, and you know that.
No. I mean, now what Kim did last night, I agree with what you said. You know, and I mean, I think somebody good for her. Somebody has been coaching her since the end of that LSU game.
That's right.
You know, she's saying she's owning some of it, but we're going to still have to see results. But I agree with you. It was refreshing to hear her say that last night.
Bob, what happens tomorrow? Does our mastery over Alabama continue in Thompson Bowling Arena, that 6 Eastern start?
Man, I sure hope so, but I think everybody's assuming that's what's going to happen. I've talked to a lot of people, and it's like, hey, man, this Alabama team's won 7 in a row. They've averaged almost 98 points a game during that winning streak. Buddy, they shot against Mississippi State the other night. They took 71 shots, and 50 of them were three-pointers. We know their deal. They are who they are, and it's just we got to guard that perimeter with them, because they don't deviate from their game plan. They never do. I think sometimes that's an undoing for Nate Oates, but at the same time, when they're falling, they are very, very hard to beat. And you got to believe Nate Oates is hearing some of the same chatter we talk about, that Rick Barnes owns him, etc. They'll be motivated, man. I think this is going to be a very, very close game. I think Tennessee can win it, but boy, I certainly don't think it's anywhere near being in the bag.
Really? You're surprising me, because it's a game of matchups, man.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It depends on what Barnes has done in the past. If they can turn off the water on that perimeter game that Alabama has,
yes, great point.
Then man, yeah, I have little doubt at that point. It's just we've had moments where, you know, these guys, you know, where teams can hit threes. Kentucky did it to us 3 weeks ago. So that's the thing I'm a little bit concerned about, because our defense is better. And it's still good. It ranks like 15th nationally, but we're still not like elite like we have been the last couple of years.
Bob, I look forward to you firing it up, focusing it, and preparing it with the great Russell Smith and Bear Italia later on Fan Run Radio. I really appreciate you joining. Anything else you'd care to add here? You've been next level.
Oh man, I appreciate the time. It's always good to talk to you and Bino and Brian. And I just think, hey man, what a weekend too, man. We got this baseball game this afternoon.
Wow.
We got basketball tomorrow. Hey, we got Lady Vols on Sunday.
Yep.
Anyone up for that? No, it's going to be a great weekend. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope everybody enjoys the weekend. And thanks for the time, Tony.
Bob, have a doc good and love you, brother.
Thanks, Bob.
He's a good man right there. He's as good as they come. Kevin Skarbinski on the other side. How about this? How about Bob? Bob's not acquiescing here. He's not saying this game's a layup tomorrow night, Bino, like you are.
I'm not, Tony. I'm with Bob. I'm concerned about the game. I'm hoping for a split with Alabama and Vandy and take care of South Carolina, and let's get on with business.
Hoping for a split? You mean that means we could lose both those games? Oh, I see. I thought you meant with each team you're hoping for. So I was like, you're cheering for what?
No. I'm hoping for a split in the Alabama Vandy home games here.
I thought, what is Bino's Negative inhabiting Bino's body? Brian, that's what I thought. And by the way,
the game, honestly, it concerns me too. I mean, they're due to. It makes no sense that Tennessee's beaten them 5 straight times.
Amen.
Like it makes no sense that Kentucky keeps beating Tennessee because the better team ain't owning the series in either case.
You know what makes no sense? That I didn't get to that break on time. That's something that makes no sense. I got to be better. You know?
I got wordy.
I got to be better. Let's get there.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM
Kevin
1340
Skarbinski coming up.
WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm going to hop online and I'm going to get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama Zizi approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and Zizi.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Newsflash, Basilio listeners, the spring real estate market just moved up. Yes, it's chilly outside and you're still in your puffy coat, but if you need to sell your East Tennessee property, you could be the hottest house on the block. Hi there, Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. February is the sweetheart month of real estate, and savvy sellers know exactly what that means. Get ahead of the game and give me a call at 865-694-5904 or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols!
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today. Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
VIP Play coming soon. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Chilio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company. TB back with you as we welcome you back. I'm telling you right now, the great Kevin Skarbinski joining. I love this guy. He is shining like the sun in the middle of the day. He and I both have seen it all in this business. And Kevin, you of the Birmingham News, you of Scarbo Knows on YouTube, and the other stuff you have going on, which we'll let you promote. I welcome you in on this Friday as not only you just told me off the air that we're waiting on what the Supreme Court's going to say for Bediako. Tell me about this. He could be on the court tomorrow in Knoxville. Tell me about it.
Oh, wait, it gets even better. Good to be with you, Tony, first of all. I just saw this. I've been working on some other things. And Nick Kelly, who is the outstanding Alabama beat writer for AL.com, he posted on Twitter earlier this morning. You're not going to believe this. First of all, let me just say this. Okay, yes, Bediako his attorneys have asked the Alabama Supreme Court for an emergency. They filed an emergency motion for immediate eligibility. They wanted them to decide by today, and we haven't heard anything yet today whether they will do so we can play as soon as the Tennessee game tomorrow. But it gets better than that. Last night in Puerto Rico, Charles Bediako played 16 and a half minutes for Team Canada in Puerto Rico, as I said, as part of the FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. Wait a minute. I literally just saw this. So you're telling me, and again, Nick Kelly is an outstanding reporter. He's the one who put this out there this morning on Twitter. So you're telling me that he played to qualify. He was born in the United States, but he has Canadian citizenship. So he played
This
on
guy knows
Team
how to work the
Canada's
system, right?
group that's trying to get in the World Cup. Unbelievable.
Hey, Kev.
This thing gets crazier every day.
Kev, I don't want to expose myself here, but when you and I were talking, somebody put in our YouTube comments that he played in Puerto Rico last night, and I repeated it earlier because I just thought it was funny. I didn't think the guy was serious because it gave me a chance to go.
Oh, well,
Puerto Rican.
Again, this is a legit, yeah.
What?
Nick Kelly,
But you just
Nick
told
Kelly,
me.
like I said, an outstanding reporter.
But Kev,
are you kidding me?
But you told me off the air. You said he's practicing with the team. They're doing this gimmick where they have this guy practicing with the team, but they won't take him on. They won't take him on the road because he become a point of derision. So basically, he's just like a practice player at this point.
He's on the scout team. He is part of the program. They say he is continuing to go to class because he's not far away from earning his degree. And that was one of the points that they made, which sounds nice. And look, let me say this first. I believe Nate Oates, Greg Byrne are genuine when they talk about Charles Bediako, the person, because they know him. He played there for 2 years. He is a good dude by all accounts. He's a good teammate. He is unassuming. He's one of the quietest players you'll ever see or be around. And he just makes the team better just by being around. And certainly it helps them in practice to have another big for Aiden Sherrill, who is really their only true big that's left on the roster to go against. But yes, they decided he played in 2 road games at Florida, which did not go well for the Crimson Tide. They got run out of the gym in Gainesville. And then at Auburn, and in both cases he was heckled. The student sections chanted G League dropout very lustily. And so they decided, even though they could take him with them, I mean, there's nothing that says he couldn't go and sit on the bench, but they decided not to subject him to that kind of abuse. So it's gotten sad at this point, but the argument that his attorneys made in their motion to the Alabama Supreme Court earlier this week was that you cannot undo the damage done to him monetarily if you don't let him play the rest of the season, because you can't get the rest of the season back, because this is the end of his 5-year window. He can't play college basketball after this if he were to win his lawsuit against the NCAA. And that's what's going on here. To remind people, this is not Alabama suing anyone. This is Charles Bediako suing the NCAA to finish out this season and complete his college eligibility. So, yeah, this twist of him playing in Puerto Rico last night, I don't know. I didn't think the story could get any crazier, but apparently I was wrong.
Well, I didn't want to repeat that to you because I didn't want you to think I was a loon. After you told me he'd been practicing with the team.
I'm reading it, and I feel like a loon even saying it out loud. But like I said, Nick Kelly is a great reporter, and it's just I can't even wrap my mind around this one.
Hey, Bino Jeff Henderson, who's with us, can you back to the phones over here? Says over on YouTube, could you imagine playing for Alabama during that entire circus? And I'm sure he's a good kid, Bino, but what a distraction. Like let's say he gets a stay today and he's able to play tomorrow. Like, what a distraction that must be, that whole thing around him, Bino, that all these kids have to put up with in the transfer portal era.
Yeah, it's just what we face. And hey, let's give Charles credit. At least he's not worried about load management.
What a great line. That's a great.
Well, I guess he needed some game. He needed some game action,
some game work
to be sharp. To be sharp, if he's able to play on Saturday in Knoxville, because he hasn't played in a game in a while, just a practice. So maybe that was part of his overall thinking. But here's what makes it even crazier. Alabama's won 7 games in a row without it. Well, they won a couple, first 1 or 2 with him, but
they're really playing.
They are playing their best basketball without him. Aiden Sherrill, like I said, their only true big on the roster that's left. He has played his best basketball. He's played more minutes. He was outstanding against Arkansas in a game that was a track meet, and he played the most minutes he's ever played, and he had scored the most points he's ever scored, had a double-double. So everything's going well for them, except for LeBaron Philon's been banged up. He has a left leg issue that kept them out of the game the other night. Not that it slowed them down against Mississippi State. They made 22 threes. So that's what makes this even crazier. Would this be good for the basketball team if he rejoined them in Knoxville? Didn't work out the first time they played the Vols.
Well, and if I had won 7 in a row, I'm not sure I'd rush him in Knoxville tomorrow. I don't know. That's a real interesting. That's an interesting conundrum there, because if I and we had a guest on earlier, Bob Baskerville, who was looking inside the numbers at Alabama's last win, and the number of shots taken, the 3 balls taken, the number made. I mean, they're really, really playing very well right now, to the point where a lot of our fans are not liking Tennessee tomorrow, Kevin, and because we know that sooner or later that other shoe has to drop. You're not going to beat a coach like Nate Oates. What would tomorrow be? 6 in a row? I mean, that'd be crazy.
Which is crazy, especially when you consider he still beats himself up. He's talked about this in the last week, about that game in Knoxville last year. And they had it won, and they gave it away, and he made some terrible decisions down the stretch. And he did own it. He took responsibility. He's maybe the worst game he's coached since he's been at Alabama. And look, he's won more games overall than anyone in the SEC since he got to Tuscaloosa. He's won more SEC games than anyone. Tennessee's right there with him, very close, maybe one or so off. But he's been as good as a coach as anyone in the league since he's been there. And yet he just had a meltdown, and his team had a meltdown last year in Knoxville, and that has lingered with him. I don't know if it'll affect him at all tomorrow, but here's something else to consider in this Bediako deal. You know, Alabama put out a statement. Alabama has been very clear that they've been very supportive of him, right? But they put out a statement this week after this latest legal maneuver, in which they said they continue. You know, he has to do what he basically they said he has to do what he has to do, and we support him in his efforts to continue to get his degree. It was not a ringing endorsement of this latest filing. And I wonder, I don't know this to a certainty, but I certainly suspect that Alabama has mixed emotions about this deal on whether they really, truly want him back if he wins this emergency appeal. Now, look, it would help them from a depth standpoint. They are thin in the front line. That's a huge advantage Tennessee has when they play them that Florida had when they played them. That's why they lost to teams like Arizona. They just don't match up on the front court. So it could help them from that standpoint, but they're playing really, really good basketball right now without him.
You know what's incredible to me too when you talk about that? There lurking in the background is that tenuous relationship. We don't want to urinate off our commissioner, who's already come out in the courts in the first case, correct me if I'm wrong, and came out against this kid. The last thing they want are these bounce back players, these guys that go to the G League and fail and want to come back to college and get the big money. Now, if I were them, I would embrace it. I would say everybody gets 5 years. And if you leave after 1 and you become one of these bus league guys and that's your fate and you want to come back 2 years later and you still have 2 years left, hey, come on back and make our game better. That would be me. That's how I would approach this. But they're going to fight it tooth and nail and put up whatever their front is. Somewhere in there has to be the commissioner and knowing where he stands, which is your other member institutions in the league. I would say Alabama has to be tepid in what they say, right?
They have to be careful, yes, because Sankey did file an affidavit in this case originally in which he argued against Bediako becoming eligible again.
Yep. And
really, it's a really strong leg to stand on because has been a rule. It is an absolute, there's no disputing the rule that if you play college basketball and you declare early for the NBA draft and you stay in the draft past the deadline to withdraw, and then you go on and sign pro contracts, even if they're 10-day deals, and Bediako did all of that, even though he didn't get drafted, then you forfeit your remaining eligibility. There's no wiggle room here. There's no what his lawyers are arguing is that the NCAA applies its eligibility standards randomly, capriciously, and it's hard to argue with that, right?
Well, no, it's the same reason, Kevin, that we're going to see silent transfers or whatever they're calling these guys are going to transfer in the spring, who are going to create their own portal, their own window. Teams are going to take those guys. The NCAA is going to threaten retribution against those teams. Kevin, you and I have been around a long time. You think power head coaches, the Lane Kiffins of the world, are going to worry about what the big bad wolf's going to do with them when they see they have no power?
Clearly, coaches are not concerned about possible blowback to all the things they're doing in recruiting. Look at Pete Golding. I mean, Clemson.
Yeah.
Look at what, I mean, I thought Dabo turned into Matlock at that press conference when he was point by point delineating exactly what Ole Miss and Pete Golding had done. I mean, texting after the guy transfers to Clemson, signs with Clemson, he's in class at Clemson, and Golding is texting him in class.
Hey, I'll tell you what.
Asking him how much, I mean, if that's not tampering, there is no tampering.
But Pete Golding's a guy in high school. You think you're going to the prom with this girl. She calls you up at 4:30 that afternoon after you've already bought the flowers and everything and says, hey, by the way, I'm going with Pete Golding. He never quit on me. I mean, what in the world? Think about that. And Bino and Kevin and Brian, I'm going to ask you guys, let's go around the horn here. What would be wrong with if he gets a stay here? What would be wrong with college basketball saying, hey, look, you got 5 years from the time you sign with us. And if you fail at the NBA level and you're in the bus leagues or you're in Europe or wherever because you couldn't make it there, and you want to come back and play in college basketball, you've got 5 years from the time you sign. What would be wrong with doing that, Bino, if you did it for everybody? What would be wrong with that, Bino?
If it's within 5 years of when they graduate high school, Tony, I would not have a huge problem with it.
We just call them bounce back players.
If they haven't played a true professional at the major level.
Yeah. Now, if you're an NBA player, if you become an NBA basketball player, say you playing, and they ought to make it a certain number of games, however you want to do that, service time in the NBA. But if you're one of these G League guys and you're bouncing around and hey, I gave up my opportunity because I overrated myself, people backtrack all the time in life. And if you hey, we'll do it for 5 years. Brian, what do you say? Brian Hart.
Yeah, and that gives if somebody gets hurt, that gives them a year to sort of play with there, and they can have I guess it can act like a red shirt sort of deal.
That's my Kevin. What do you think? I think they ought to do it anyway.
Well, I like the 5 year. I like you have 5 years and you can play 5 years.
Yeah.
No exceptions, no exemptions. If you get hurt, I'm sorry. Life is tough. But I will. Let me add this to the discussion. I'm not crazy about the idea of bouncing up and down from college to the G League or any minor league. But let me tell you something that has not gotten a lot of discussion, and it is still in the discussion stage. But last week at the Birmingham Tip-Off Club, where I'm the MC, we had a roundtable discussion with Martin Newton. He's the Samford athletic director, and he's the vice chair of the NCAA selection committee. And Dr. Charles McClelland, who is the SWAC commissioner, he's a past chairman of that selection committee. And they said they are discussing 2 eligibility recommendations right now that would eliminate this Charles Bediako situation for sure. One of them is an age limit. You can play college basketball until you're 23 before you turn 24, something in that range. But the second one is the one that would stop this nonsense. And the James Najee deal at Baylor, the NCAA declared him eligible back at the end of December, which opened the window for Bediako, for his team to feel like that they might be successful legally to come back and play. And that is, you have a roster cutoff deadline. Maybe November 1st, maybe November 15th, whatever they decide, that you have to have your roster in place at that point. You cannot add anyone to the roster after that date. So you don't see midseason acquisitions. You don't see James Najee popping on the Baylor's roster at the end of December. You don't see Charles Bediako coming back playing 5 games for Alabama because of a temporary restraining order in January. And I am fully on board with both of those ideas. Again, they're just in the discussion stage, but that's more food for thought on these eligibility questions.
Yeah, and here's the other thing, too, because I'm guarantee you, anybody, and as we talk about it, we have to say this out loud, until you get those players in a room and say, okay, you got to agree to this. This is a part of a working framework we're going to have with each other. You're always going to be at the whims of the courts. And Bino had a great line earlier. And Kev, I know you're a writer and you're kind of a wordsmith, but we're deciding these things on the wrong court right now in sports. It's a shame. They've put themselves in a spot. Yeah, it's a great line by Bino. I mean, we're deciding them in the wrong courts, on the wrong courts, in the wrong courts. It's not why we watch sports, to learn about TROs and the rest of this stuff. It's just not. We watch sports to get away from this stuff, and they better be careful, Kev, in my opinion. They better be careful with it.
Well, I agree. You know, and even the things that go well, you know, and they're still talking about it. It's probably going to happen, expanding the NCAA tournament.
Yes.
Which is in my
horrible
estimation, it's a horrible idea.
Yes.
There's no reason for it.
Yes.
And the good thing, just to, again, let people know, Charlie Baker, the president of the NCAA, he's obviously for it. He's said it on multiple occasions. He said it again last week. He has not provided good reasons why he's for it, but he's not making the decision. The NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Committee will make this decision. And both Martin Newton and Charles McClellan told us last week, you don't expand just to expand. You don't want – these guys care about the integrity of the game and the integrity of the tournament. So they're not going to do it just because the president of the NCAA wants them to do it. Now, again, I think there are other forces at play here. You know, is television going to pay more? They don't have to. They're already paying them over $1 billion a year through 2032 for that contract. So they're not going to make more money that way. And here's an interesting since we're mingling sports and other things, here's an interesting aside from Martin Newton. They're having trouble. They often have trouble. You know, they fly everyone charter at the NCAA tournament. They're having trouble getting enough planes this year. You know why? Because the government and ICE have commandeered a lot of planes. And they're struggling right now to make sure they have enough charter flights for everyone in this NCAA tournament.
Wow. That's crazy.
How about that?
That's crazy. So we might see them do some convenient things in terms of seating and what falls where, and though they try to do that anyway. And who goes where. They do it anyway, but they might finagle that around just a little bit more. Hey, on the way out, before I ask you what happens tomorrow, Stephen Pearl is kind of in the throes of one, isn't he? That roster, he wasn't set up to win, though, with that roster, right? To be fair to him.
Well, they have certainly overscheduled for that roster. This was going to be a rebuilding year if Bruce Pearl were still coaching. And let's not, people want to blame Stephen. And look, he's the head coach. He's a big boy. He can handle it. But put a lot of this on Bruce.
Yes.
Because, he didn't retire, resign, step away until the first day of practice. So he was fully involved in putting the roster together. He was fully involved in putting the schedule together. And he didn't do his son any favors. Now, having said that, Stephen has not been able to convince those guys to play defense, especially on the perimeter. They're one of the worst perimeter defensive teams in the country. Teams light them up regularly. Look, Josh Hubbard from Mississippi State had 46 against them last week. That's a bad loss. But I still believe that they win their next 2 games, which they should against Ole Miss and LSU, they're going to be in the NCAA tournament. They're going to be 17-15 or something like that.
So dumb.
And they're going to end up in the NCAA tournament, and they're going to be the focal point of derision on Selection Sunday from a lot of analysts and commentators. Saying they don't belong in it. But they've got enough quality wins, and their schedule is so strong.
Hey, Kev,
they're probably going to get in.
Let's expand the tournament and put everybody in. And what the hell's the point? Really, right now, when you're in a market like ours where Rick Barnes is a high floor coach, there's really no point in the regular season anyway. Really.
And then let's expand it, Bino. Bino, let's add 10 or 12 teams. So, and this is the truth. So the Big Ten and the SEC can get as many teams in there as they want. That's what they're doing. That's what this is all about, Bino. That's what this is all about.
Yep.
Sad.
Please don't do that. Kevin, I got one more thing for you and Tony here.
Sure.
I love sports. I'm way too serious about my favorite teams. But how whack job has it gotten when a couple of attorneys will go to the Alabama Supreme Court and say, hey, guys, how about you lay whatever minor things you're dealing with on the side so we can get a basketball player on the court in Knoxville tomorrow? How whack job is that?
Yeah, we've lost the plot, right? That's what this is supposed to be about. Yeah. And the funny, people have already researched where the Alabama Supreme Court justices have gone to college. And surprisingly, it's a rather diverse lot. It's not stacked with people who went to the University of Alabama Law School, which is a bit of an upset because, that's how people think people make decisions based on where they went to school. Even though the judge in Tuscaloosa was the one who put a stop, he did not grant the preliminary injunction, and he shot down. They had to go through him, procedurally speaking, before going to the Alabama Supreme Court. They went back to him, and he turned them down in a heartbeat again. So the whole thing has become almost comical.
I hope there's a bunch of UAB guys on there saying this is what we've been waiting on.
Yeah, or Auburn
guys.
Folks. Auburn undergrads who went to law school somewhere, like in Vanderbilt or Stanford or somewhere else, helping shoot it down.
All right, Kevin.
I guess we'll be holding our breath, guys, till the end of the day to see if the Supreme Court yells "Roll Tide" and allows them to play tomorrow.
The great Kevin Skarbinski has one thing in common with me. He grew up in Pennsylvania and had the sense to get out of there. Yes. He holds it down in Alabama all these years. I'm going to let him tell you about his endeavors. But first, Alabama, according to Dave, has hit 101 three balls during their 7-game winning streak, shooting over 40% during that stretch. Tennessee, in 28 games, has hit 200, haven't even hit 200 threes the whole year. So Alabama is hitting it at an alarmingly high rate. The question, Kev, is do they get them off tomorrow, or is Rick Barnes again successful running them off the three-point line? What is your thought? How does tomorrow's game go?
Yeah, nobody guards them and runs them off the three-point line, as you said, like Tennessee. And that's Rick Barnes' MO. He's brilliant at that side of the game. I think though, as you said earlier, I think Alabama's playing so well right now. This streak can't go on forever. Alabama's been too good, too consistently good, and they are on a heater right now. So I think they find, and because they know they should have won the game in Knoxville last year. They let it get away late. So for all those reasons, I think it'll be a tight game. It's not going to be a game in the hundreds. Alabama's not going to score 100 for the 9th time this year. But I think Alabama finds a way. And a lot of it's going to depend on how healthy LeBaron Philon is, because you can beat Mississippi State without him. And he was in street clothes for that game. I'm not sure you can beat Tennessee without him at something close to 100%. But I would give the edge to Alabama.
Little load managing on the college level. Yeah, when you have some of those off nights in this league, you got to kind of take them. If you know that you can get through, especially when you get a guy beat up, banged up, as you will do this time of the year. Kev, give folks the coordinates if they want to tune into you. And I love you, Kevin. I love talking to you. We have great conversation, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did today. But go ahead and share it with the living listener where they can find you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I always enjoy my visits, Tony. Yeah, best thing to do, follow me on Twitter or X if you prefer, at Kevin Skarbinski. You can keep up with my columns for the Birmingham News, which is now an online subscription publication through AL.com. And go to my YouTube channel, Kevin Skarbinski-Scarbo Knows. Keep up with my 2 podcasts a week. I'll be putting one out shortly about NCAA tournament expansion, which we've been discussing. And then next week, one of the best things I get to do, Tony, I host the Alabama High School Basketball Championships on television from Monday morning at 9 o'clock through Saturday evening about 8 o'clock at Legacy Arena here in Birmingham. 14 championships, 7 girls classifications, 7 boys. It's the best high school basketball tournament in the country, and I get to do every pregame, halftime, and postgame shows for the whole week. I can't wait.
Kevin, I love you because I'm going to tell you something. I love high school basketball. I was talking with a buddy of mine, Ken Miller, who will skip Tennessee games to go see a local high school game near him or whatever, and they'll record the Tennessee games and watch them back later. And there's just nothing like the spirit and the enthusiasm and the feel of a really high-level high school game. So that's cool that you get to do that. And
It
lift
reminds
those
us,
kids
Tony,
up.
of why we fell in love with sports in the first
That's
place.
exactly right. Thank you very little. Thank you, Kev. Love you, man. Thanks.
Have a great day, Tony. See
Yeah.
you.
That's Bino, time well spent, yes or no? Our last three guests.
Always, Tony. Yes.
Anything else you want to add to that segment where now we know that not only did Bediako play in Puerto Rico last night, but he might be in Knoxville tomorrow. Just when you thought, and Kevin was laughing as he discovered that, because I didn't want to say to him because I was visiting with him before we jumped on, and I was like, this Bediako thing, I'm going to touch on it with you. And he goes, yeah. He goes, he's practicing with the team, and it's just kind of, the whole thing's goofy. And I mean, little did I know that he would come back and say, oh, by the way, that thing about Puerto Rico, I just said it to go, Puerto Riqueña. That's the only reason I did Dos Equis. That's the only reason I did it. Which, by the way, is Cervezas Mexicanas. Let's not mix our Mexicanas and our Puerto Riqueña. Those folks from those two lands don't, because we all know that Willie Stargell, when we listen to this show, we know that Willie Stargell is a son of Puerto Rico. He's an export, which isn't really an export because they're part of our country anyway. And Roberto Clemente comes from Central America somewhere, right, Bino? Aren't these the things we learn on this show?
Roberto Clemente is Puerto Rican.
Yes. And Willie Stargell is? Thank you. But Kevin's right. I was talking to Miller about it. Miller says, I go to the high school gym or I go to a high school sporting event and I feel whatever it is I used to feel watching all these sports we follow. It's really sad what they're doing to these sports. It's what's crazy though? They're still great, Bino. They're still great.
Oh, Tony, again, if you could just tune out of everything that doesn't happen on game day.
Yup.
The sport itself is still really good.
But when you're in my spot and you don't mention
you can't do it.
That Bediako's in the Supreme Court and that these guys are saying a couple dozen of these kids are going to jump. That one agent said, hey, don't believe me, just watch. Bruno Mars. Mark Ronson. Mick Ronson. Dating back to David Bowie. I mean, don't believe me, just watch. We have a lot to talk about. Bino, y'all got me worried about this basketball game now, damn it. I woke up today going, you know what? Here's what's going to happen this weekend. Lady Vols are going to roll, right, Brian? This weekend. Lady Vols are rolling this weekend, right, Brian?
This will be a good time to roll for sure.
Oh, I'm talking about softball.
Softball, yes.
That basketball team ain't beating anybody.
Yeah, they should go 5-0. But Penn State is barely ranked, but they shouldn't have any problem.
Penn State's going to get drug. All right? They're going to get drug on the diamond this weekend. That Lady Ball basketball team ain't beating anybody. Then I'm thinking Alabama is going to get a full snout full. And I'm talking about a snout full of my size of a snout, Bino. And you see the size of my snout up close, Bino. I can get a snout full, can't I?
You could, Tom. You could.
Thank you very little. If I had a cocaine problem, Bino, I could have a major cocaine addiction. My dad used to say to me, he wasn't a big confidence guy with his kids. He looked at me one time, he said, Tony, the thing about a cold with you is that's a major health issue. He said, you got a lot of nose there, son. Now, that's not a confidence engendering thing to say to a youngster.
Those World War II dads, they weren't gentle.
Carly Simon wrote a song about them. They didn't have time for the pain, man. We'll come back on the other side. Bino, I'm getting flogged. People are saying it's a horrible show because we haven't taken calls. Do you agree with that, you and Brian? You think today's been a horrible show?
I think the best shows don't include calls.
Brian, wow. You can't go hard at the callers like that. I love the callers, Brian.
You can't get on my peeps like that, Bryony boy.
I mean, really? Yeah, my dad said to me, he said, cold's a major issue to you, man. Size of your nose. Take a brief time out, come back. We'll get some calls in. I want to hear from you on the other side after this. Are you currently a residential electrician? Would you like more benefits, better pay, more upside? What about a $3,000 signing bonus? Free company-paid health insurance, annual profit share, company vehicle, gas card, much more. Call Advent Electric today. Advent, known for their large commercial jobs around town, and due to high demand, they're adding additional roles for their residential department. Maybe you know a friend, family member that's a residential electrician. Spread the word. Email hr@adventelectric.com. hr@adventelectric.com. 865-588-0631 and ask for the Tony B 3K signing bonus. Advent Electric is hiring. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land. Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contracting. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold, refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dose with Dos Equis.
Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care. I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Basilio here with my buddy, Connexial Kristen.
Hey, Tony. Good to see ya. Connexial builds fleet technology that helps transportation and logistics companies win big. live GPS, easy ELD and compliance tools, AI dash cameras, and asset tracking, all backed by the .1 U.S. customer support team. Want a better playbook for your operations? Visit ConnectSeal.com/Tony. That's KONEXIAL.com/Tony. ConnectSeal, built for drivers, trusted by fleets, and proud Vol fans.
Tony Basilio here, and I got the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance 2026. Chad, do you believe we've made it?
Boys and girls teams start off the new year at big national event showcases. We got our younger kids training indoors and doing a lot of things to get better. So we're excited about what the future holds.
Chad, I hear the juice behind you. I hear the kids. Your program reaches throughout East Tennessee. If folks want to get involved, what's the advice?
We're easy to get in touch with. We offer players at all ages, all levels, all experience. We have a program for all of our kids that we have, and we're excited for anyone to join us.
And even some Lady Vols as well. Several college players all over the country, yes?
Absolutely. We had a lot of girls that we were able to watch play in the NCAA tournament. A lot of our former players made big runs through the tournament. We're so excited for them.
Growing the beautiful game. In this, the year of the World Cup in North America, celebrate the beautiful game. Get your child involved. FCAllianceKnox.org. That's FCAllianceKnox.org. And Chad, thank you, man. Keep growing the beautiful game.
Absolutely, Tony, and thank you very much.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
From the sunrise over the Smokies to the Saturday cheers at Neyland Stadium, Knoxville isn't just where we live, it's home. But let's be honest, finding your perfect spot in a hot market can feel like a full-time job. Whether you're looking for a Craftsman in 4th and Gill, a family home in Farragut, or a view in South Knox, the market moves fast. You need more than a listing. You need an edge. And that's where I come in, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty. And I specialize in helping Knoxville buyers win. I don't just find houses, I find the right fit for your budget and your lifestyle. Ready to unlock your front door? Visit nextmovesmokymountains.com or call me at 865-694-5904. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com. And as always, go Vols.
You know, I hear these sponsors on here, and I just love these people. I love them. You have no idea what these sponsors mean to me. You realize you could spend your money as a client anywhere. And I had somebody reach out to me from a great Knoxville brand, and they're going to do something with us, you know, and I'm just so blessed to get to do this every day. And Bino will tell you, man, it's hard getting out there and pounding the streets. It'll wear a person out. And you've been so supportive of me down through the years. The listeners of this, whatever this is that we're doing. But we're going to go to the phones. Tomorrow's line, Bri, 4.5, is that right? As I shout out my friends at VIP Play. 4.5, Bri, is that right?
Yeah, the Vols are favored by 4.5. They were a 4.5-point underdog in Tuscaloosa.
You're scaring me right now, man. I'm almost inclined to take Bama plus the 4.5 with the news of Betty Crocco, the way they're shooting the ball. Then again, great song Lauren Wilson's penned. Then again, Rick Barnes, ladies and gentlemen, on the 1s and the 2s and the 3s owns a guy that wants to buy a vowel. Who's the host of Wheel of Fortune now, Bri? Looks like he's at a facial tuck. What is the guy's name?
Yeah, Ryan Seacrest.
He looks pretty waxy.
He's a total dork.
Oh, he's a total dork. You sound like my brother-in-law, John. He can't stand the guy. My friends at VIP.
He's a Georgia fan, too, by the way.
He's a total dork then. My friends at VI, the guys I know in town that are Georgia fans, dork, 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 and dork. I know 4 of them, and they're all dorks. And I flash you like Tully Blanchard in my dweems. Go claim your VIP play welcome bonus, $20. You get $100 in bonus bets instantly. The promo code, the phrase that pays is TN Tony. Live always, 200-plus leagues, numerous bet types, props, options. If you have a bet in mind and you don't see it, don't make it for you. Check them out tomorrow up on the top of the screen. I'm gonna have something for you this weekend. I'm gonna check with my sources, and we're gonna put together a little 3-pack for you for this weekend. Gambling problem, 800-889-9789, 21 and over, located in the great state of Tennessee. To place a bet, we're going to go back to our phones. By the way, my winners and losers crew, we're going to convene for a baseball special, just a welcome back baseball special. Bino, you going to be a part of that? We just sit together, sit around and give some futures, but really just celebrate what baseball means to us. We're going to drop a special podcast here next couple weeks.
If I can, I will, Tony.
Yeah, I love this time of the year, where even the Braves have a chance this time of the year to cut them down. You know, it's a great time of the year. Shout out Jennifer Morris, one of my great Braves fans out there. Jennifer, y'all even have a shot till you're done. All right, let's go to the phones.
Easy, Tony.
There you go. Hello and welcome into our first call. You're on the air.
How my French compatriots doing today?
W. Lynn, welcome in.
Man, there's a lot going on this weekend. First, on the Lady Vols basketball, what I predicted is true. The latest poll, we're playing all 1 through 7 teams in the top 25. We finished out with Vandy, which if we lose to them, that'd be 0-7. But our basketball team against the top 16 teams is 1-4. Our Houston wins the 1. So it's just watching that LSU game was just sad to me yesterday. I just really felt bad for them, and I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm fired up about softball. We played Penn State actually twice, Tony. Do you know that?
They play them at 5:30 tonight, and then they turn around and play them tomorrow at 3.
Yeah, so I didn't know they were ranked. Did you say they were ranked, Brian, Penn State?
I think I saw where they were barely ranked. They were ranked number 20.
Yeah, they're going to get ranked all right. They're going to get ranked here and ranked there, and they're going to get pulled all over the baseball diamond this weekend. You know, Kim Caldwell last night, I love her answer to that question about the criticism.
I do too.
And by the way, I thought the Lady Vols comported themselves very well last night. And then they've got some talent. When you watch them play, they got talent. They just can't put it together for whatever reason.
I know it. Yeah. It's sad, but I hope we make the tournament and maybe win a game or two, depending on where we get seeded.
Yep.
But, I'm just ready to kind of move on and I'm just going to keep pulling for them. But as far as the men go, I'm worried about this game too, Tony, tomorrow. I mean, the students ought to come in dressed as judges with gavels or something.
Nice.
With
nice
Alabama
idea.
Supreme Court around their neck.
Nice idea.
Hey, Tony, I think you guys brought up a valid point. I'm kind of hoping he wins.
Yep.
Because I don't think that helps them.
It's a good point, Bino.
I agree.
Plus, it gives
messed
us
their chemistry up.
Plus, it gives us a focal point. If they truck him in here and bring him in here, it really gives our kind of wrestling crowd some red meat. Bino, we love red meat here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm just worried, Tony. You know, I'm thinking if we go 2-1 and finish 22-9, I'm okay. But I'm scared our fan base, if we go 2-1, is just going to go all to pieces. Because we could lose to Vandy. I mean, that sounds outrageous, but, you know.
No, anything can happen. It's hard to sweep a team, and anything can happen. Vanderbilt's got a comparable team to us, no doubt.
Our team's like a box of chocolates or a container of homemade Chex Mix. You never know what you're getting.
W. Lynn, I will go with a box of chocolates because Rick Barnes is sweet in March, baby. He lives in the Sweet 16. And that will continue to happen. And I thank you. As time is tight, we'll get everybody in here. 3 calls. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, guys? Joshy boy.
Wings.
Tony, why are you hating on my Braves, man? They won a World Series recently, unlike your Phillies.
That's true. 2008. You all did it,
Yeah,
what,
dude.
strike year?
2021.
Yeah, the year after COVID.
Yeah, they played a full season that year.
That's right.
So it looks like Fallon's going to be out for Alabama tomorrow.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, Kevin Skarbinski said there's a chance he plays, a chance he doesn't. I guess we'll find out.
Where'd you see that at, Joshy boy?
I asked Grok on Twitter if he would play tomorrow.
Grok?
Yeah, it's AI generated. You can ask it any question. Yeah.
Grok ought
Do
to
you guys
know.
do you guys expect that spread to go up even more if he doesn't play tomorrow?
What do you think, Bino? The number? Obviously. Yeah. Be worth 1.5 points probably, I would think.
Yeah, you would think, Josh, him being their key player.
Tony, how
you
are
would
they
think
going to
it was
let
doing something.
Bediako? How are they going to let him play tomorrow, Bediako?
Supreme Court in the state of Alabama gives him a stay, and they put him in uniform and march him out there and play him.
That's just some BS, man.
Well, it's totally defiant. It's total defiance of the NCAA and the
they
league.
need to get this. They need to get this TRO and this court stuff under control.
I agree with that. The courts need to acquiesce to sports. The courts need to come under sports, Bino, in our society now. There ought to be 3 branches of government. There ought to be the executive, the legislative, and sports.
Yeah. I mean, we've already talked about how ridiculous it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Bino has a good point, Josh, which is
he does.
They've got very, very serious matters before the Supreme Court in Alabama. Like, I couldn't think of any. But I'm sure they're serious to somebody, and they got to worry about some damn player that played in Puerto Rico last night.
Puerto Rico. Yeah.
Puerto Rican.
So, who do you guys think is going to be the key player for the Vols tomorrow night in TBA?
Who's your pick to click, Bino?
Well, I think the key for Tennessee is does Nate Ament bounce back after 2 subpar offensive games? I'm hopeful that he comes back home and regains the confidence we saw him play with prior to the last 2 games on the road.
Shout out to Dos Equis. I'm going with I'm going with Trace. Who's your 3rd player tomorrow? And I'm identifying Bishop Boswell as the difference in tomorrow's game. Defensively, his work on the perimeter, and then he's going to make a few shots. As well as I lose my breath.
My last one for you guys off the door is going to be number 0, Jacoby Gillespie.
You're the man, Joshy boy. I love you. You're under wing. We've rounded you into a nice caller. We're moderating you. We're moderating Nega Dave. I've taken Nega Dave from an absolute curmudgeon being